Hey, my name's Brad. I'm with bitfreighter. I'm here sitting with my two friends, Jeff from Revenova and Eric from Everest Transportation Systems. We're here to talk about how bitfreighter, Revenova, and Everest all work together using our technologies to advance Everest in the transportation world.
And my name is Jeff Parisi. I run sales at Revenova. Revenova is a CRM-powered transportation management system. We sell primarily to brokers, shippers, and 3PLs, and we're built natively on the Salesforce platform. bitfreighter is a valued partner of ours that integrates EDI into our customers, and Eric is also a valued customer, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Eric Littel. I'm the CTO at Everest Transportation. We're a Chicago-based transportation broker, primarily for truckload and drayage. And we use bitfreighter for our EDI connectivity to our customers, as well as Jeff and Revenova for our TMS.
You know, Everest is a valued customer. As you said, I don't think you're a super small brokerage. You're fairly large brokerage, but they have strong management and top down, committed to customer success and satisfaction, and you have to have a strong IT admin. So Eric knows Salesforce, knows Revenova, and Eric's not dependent on me to make changes. So it's what, he can go in there and create his own fields, do his own processes. It's actually pretty funny. Every once in a while, Eric will call us and say all the cool stuff that he's done in our application, and I didn't even know about it. So it allows him to use his entrepreneurial spirit and technical chops and build out functionality while maintaining and running his business.
I think to add to that, we allow our customers full access to their EDI platform, and so they really own their connections with bitfreighter, and so giving customers the ability to really make changes like they do in Revenova and the full functionality that Revenova gives them, as well as bitfreighter's ability to give their clients the platform to make changes and really own the connections is, I think, really paired well between bitfreighter and Revenova, giving our clients full access to kind of create what they're looking to build. And I think with Eric's background and his vision for Everest and their 3 to 5 year roadmap, I think bitfreighter and Revenova allows them to scale really well because he's not 100% reliant on us. He can take charge and have that functionality to make those changes at the time that he needs to.
Yeah, I'd say EDI is not a simple thing to implement. There's a lot of parts and pieces to that. And being able to troubleshoot, whether it's inside the TMS and see what the TMS is doing, or logging into the bitfreighter portal and trying to trace down what's going on in there, where the message was sent. So being able to do that myself or someone on my team as like a first line of defense will always be faster than trying to explain the problem to someone else and have them get in your environment, try to figure it out, and then report back. So being able to do that up front is huge. So I think both you guys, from like a vendor perspective, have that same mentality of enable the customer to use the tool and use the system that they have however they see fit, and it works for us because that's how we kind of run our business. Is we own it, we control it, and we want to know how it works under the hood to a degree, and then when we can't figure it out, then we've got white glove service with bitfreighter, and we can reach out and go, hey guys, we need some help on this one.
Yeah, and to add to that, I think a lot of EDI platforms are a black box. You don't really know what's happening. You don't really know if envelopes are being sent. You don't really know if you're sending updates. And I think being able to log in and troubleshoot, like Eric was talking about, and then seeing as the envelopes come in, as the transactions come in, and as we API them into Revenova, and being able to see all the processing that's happening, you can really see the full story of how the EDI and then as we translate it to an API for it to work with Revenova, how it all works together.
We're maniacal about customer satisfaction, but all our customers need EDI, and I need the EDI to really run like a light switch. You you turn the light on and lights come on. You don't care how they come on. And that's what our customers expect as far as EDI, is that it works. And that's what we care about. So you make it easy for our customers to manage that. Another analogy is like, if you don't recognize a referee in a football game or baseball game, you know they did a good job. So I don't hear anything from our customers that use you, which means it works, and I don't have any issues, and customers are happy. So that's all I care about, and you guys provide a wonderful service to our customers.
Well, I appreciate that, and I think you can reference EDI as a utility. It's like your water bill or your electric bill. You almost have to have it, and you never want to hear from those guys. You want to know that it's working.
No, you don't. You don't want to hear from them.
Yeah, but it works. That's what you want from an EDI platform, is that it works really well, and then when you do need them, you can get a hold of them.
And you're based in the cloud too, which was a big plus for us. So, might be showing my age here, but I've implemented EDI a bunch of different ways. So we've done everything in-house, where we were doing the translation, we were storing the servers and having customers and carriers log into our servers and dishing out the envelopes and all that stuff. We've gone the complete opposite and outsourced everything and like hands off, we don't want to touch it. And this is like a good compromise where you guys know your stuff on EDI, that's your bread and butter, your sweet spot. It's not ours. We don't want to manage that, but we want to have full access to it when something goes wrong. And so we can reach out to you and ask you what's going on. Implementations, I mean, that's a great topic for us to talk about. Like, implementations with you guys are like painless and they're quick. When we had it all in-house, they would take a while because we're a smaller shop and we've got to go through all the, what kind of messages are you sending and what do you need back? And then for those big EDI providers, that can be a long implementation cycle to even get that working. So that's one of the reasons we love you guys, is it's so fast. Like, I can onboard customers, and if the customer's ready, 2 weeks. Right? And if they're not doing anything tricky, it's a standard EDI 204, 214, boom, we'll just turn them right on.
And hopefully you can leverage our catalog of integrations and the shipper network that we're building out. And so when you do land that next new shipper, or your shipper does come to you and because you've increased volume with them, you can go ahead and say, hey, do you guys already have this mapping or integration done? And hopefully the answer is yes, because we're solely only focused on the transportation space and really the domestic truckload space. And we understand this really well. And then to highlight what you said about the cloud, both bitfreighter and Revenova are in the cloud, so that really reduces your overhead.
Oh yeah.
I think that might be something we could talk about, is how much that overhead is when you are hosting your own environment for, let's say, EDI and TMS.
Yeah. So when I started at Everest 2 years ago, there was no DR plan, there was no business continuity. It was just servers sitting in the closet, sharing space with the napkins and everything else. And so naturally, put it in the cloud, make someone else worry about those servers. I had a DR plan already in place, like whatever, it's Salesforce, right? So when someone comes to us and says, what's your DR plan and where your locations, I go to Salesforce, I look at their thing, I grab the PDF and I send it off and say, we live in this all day long. There's that. We just moved from Evanston to the city. That was like painless. Everything's in the cloud. Everything's still running. I didn't have to bring anything
There's no
down.
Hardware, software.
There's no hardware. I mean, we've got some hardware, software, but not our crucial systems that need our money-making systems. They're all in the cloud.
Yeah, Salesforce spends over $1 billion a year just on the safety, security, and reliability of their cloud. So
yeah, I don't have that budget. I wish I had that budget.
So
yeah.
Big empire that works on our behalf to make sure you're safe and secure and up and running and fast.
Yep.
And we're hosted on AWS, so another major platform that we can really rely on.
Yep. I mean, from a TMS perspective, I've had everything from a green screen, the old terminals, all the way up through Salesforce on the cloud. I mean, that's kind of the bee's knees of TMSs, where you're on a stable platform where you can take advantage of everything Salesforce is building. and add the things that you want to add that are part of the product line, the roadmap, whatever it is.
I remember one of our first customers, they had a brokerage for about 30 years, and he told me, every 5 years I have to buy a new TMS because the technology just overflows them. So he's like, this is the first time I'm buying a system, and I don't think I have to do this in 5 years.
Yeah.
Now they've been with us for 7 years, very happy, but Salesforce puts out releases every year. They're always on, you're going to always be on the latest and greatest tech. Allows us to integrate with great partners easily, and it allows you to integrate with us easily because we're on this great platform. So, and we put out 3 releases. It's rapid deployment, as you know. You provide us updates, things that you want, you need. We provide them. You as a partner, you say, hey, we want to do this. Can we enhance this a little bit? And we do that on your behalf. So it's part of our release schedule. We're very customer and partner focused on all our product releases.
Yeah, I try to stay current on releases, and you're right. It's as easy as opening a ticket saying, hey, I want to get upgraded, and we schedule it, and we test it in our sandbox environment for about a week and a half, and then we go live. And from the bitfreighter side, you guys are, like every week, you're pumping out new features and functionality, so.
Yeah, we're in that startup agile framework, pushing out features all the time. But I think working with Revenova and a modern platform allowed us to, they were one of the first platforms that we integrated with, and they allowed us to take full control of doing it ourselves. They gave us the docs to the platform, and we had the API written pretty quick so that we were able to serve their customers. And we're agile enough that if we work together as partners, so if there are things that Revenova needs from an integration perspective, we come in and support them so that we're both working together to advance our technologies. I think that's a big part of our partnership, is that their customers can rely on both of our support teams as things come up, so that from an integration perspective, because if you think about it, when we talk about where technology is going, a lot of shippers are wanting full connectivity, and that is the conversation that's really happening, whether it's shipper connectivity or any sort of connectivity in the space. And that's why I think bitfreighter is positioned well to help Revenova, and Revenova is helping us grow because of the growth in the industry from a digital perspective.
I would say probably 5 years ago, building your own portal, so having a portal that your customers could log into and see where their freight is, or download an invoice or something like that, was what everyone was looking for. And that's starting to shift, or is shifted even, to, I don't want to log into your portal. You just integrate with whatever system I've got, X, Y, Z, whatever system that is. Push me the updates, because I don't want to swivel to another monitor. I want to stay in whatever system they have.
And I think Revenova is doing a great job of allowing their brokerages to stay in under the hood or in the cockpit, or whatever you want to call it, in that one system. Because that's what everybody's trying to do. Is like, they don't want their brokers going to 17 different tabs to try to get a rate or book a load or accept an EDI load or go send an update to their customer in their portal. Now they can just stay in Revenova and push everything from the Revenova suite, and they don't have to leave that platform, which allows them to get a lot more done during the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and call it AI, call it whatever you want to call it, but if our customer says, you're sending me this and I need to see something else, the first place we go is you guys, and we make sure that you guys can do that translation for that customer. So our operators who are living in Revenova, they don't even know. They just continue doing exactly what they did the day before, only now it works.
The brokerage market obviously right now is in an interesting spot, but what everybody's looking for is, how do I differentiate myself? How can I use artificial intelligence? How can I use better systems? How can I respond better to customers? I think this is becoming when we talk about CRM, everybody thinks about customers, but it's also managing their carrier databases. You better know and treat your customers well as your carriers well, understanding where's the freight, paying them on time, etc. But brokerages have to listen to their customers, and you're right. They expect more stuff rapidly, and you have to adapt quickly to that, or you're just going to be another broker. And you allow what bitfreighter allows through our platform is the ability to respond to customers quicker, and that's I think a real value add of the partnership is that our brokers are more responsive to their customers.
Brokerage is a service. It's 100% a service business. You have to deliver a phenomenal service, and I think if you don't, you'll be replaced. That's plain and simple. You, as a brokerage, you have to be able to not only have a great TMS, but also be able to connect to your shippers. And if the shippers are now asking for new things on the RFPs or the RFIs, like digital quoting, you have to be able to check those boxes. And so as a brokerage, your shippers are going to continue to ask more of you, and you need partners that you can rely on that understand those expectations in the transportation logistics world, because not everybody understands the needs of in our world, right? And I think the real difference between Revenova and the bitfreighter experience is that we really understand the needs of our customers and what their customers are expecting of them. When it comes down to delivering a brokerage service, it has to be at the highest level possible, and the brokerages need to be able to have a infrastructure behind them that will respond when they need help in those times. So I think that's a big part of the Revenova and bitfreighter difference.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen it over the years too, just the customer demands differently. Eric, you're living it, you're talking with customers all the time.
Mm-hmm.
What has changed over even the past couple of years on their demand, their demands, their requests, their requirements?
Yeah. So for customers, what we're seeing is it's like the path of least resistance. So if you're connected through EDI with a customer, they're going to tender loads to you more than they would shooting an email out saying, "Hey, bid on these 7 loads." If you're pushing tracking updates to customers, they're going to want to work with that broker more because they have better visibility into those tools. So that's kind of how we look at it. I think you're absolutely right. It's a service-based business. That's one of our selling points is like we're a white glove, handhold type of brokerage. So you give us a load, we're going to make sure that it's picked up and it's in transit and nothing's wrong with it, all the way to the end.
You hit on something as a competitive advantage for a brokerage. Having EDI and having connectivity is a question I get pretty often during the sales process. How is it going to increase my business? How am I going to get more loads because of EDI? And how do you put a number behind that? And so I think that if you're looking to set yourself apart, not only with service, but with technology, and you can check the boxes of, yes, I am connected, I can send you updates, and I can invoice you digitally, you're gonna be in a premier tier when a shipper is looking at their service providers, as rather than just being able to do manual updates and manual invoicing. And along with that, choosing Revenova to do the full digital experience with your shippers allows you to use EDI in the fashion that it should be used, because it allows that, like I was talking about earlier, the full life of a load connectivity.
Something you touched on earlier was the other TMS systems that you're connected to that have bid boards. So that's huge for us because we don't have to add headcount to bring on new loads. We can literally go bid on freight, and if we win it, it shows up in Revenova. It's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. We won the load, boom, it's already built for us. No one's hand typing anything else. It looks just like a normal load. We cover it, we do our normal broker thing, and it's treated just the same.
In the beginning, the team was probably like, where did these loads come from?
Yes, we get that question a lot, yeah. And we have a flag in there that says where it came from now, so we can tell, we can do some analysis.
You didn't come to us to do that though, did you? You did that yourself?
I did that myself,
See?
yeah. Yeah, we did that ourselves.
We're revolutionizing the EDI space, but we're not an EDI company. We're an integration platform. And EDI is just a construct in which to receive and send data in a formalized process, right?
It's a non-standard standard from like 1975 of how to trade data from one company to another.
And so when you look at companies like Revenova, who are our modern TMSs, they've built their APIs based on the EDI transaction code standards. And that is how bitfreighter helps a lot of our clients, including Everest, connect to their shippers. EDI is just the standard in which we send and receive data.
Yeah, I would say that from our perspective, the way that we look at integrating with a customer is always API first. If they can do API, we'll do API. Usually your larger customers, to even get in the door as a broker, you have to be able to do EDI, because that's all, they've paid for these old mainframe systems that do EDI, and they're stuck in them and they'll probably never change. So you have to be an EDI enabled broker to even get your foot in the door with these shippers. So that's another reason why you've got to have a partner that can onboard customers to be able to check that box and say, yes, we can do EDI with you and we can enable it on go live.
Yeah. How many trading partners do you have right now?
Oh geez. So when I started,
over a dozen?
Oh wait, well over a dozen. So when I started 2 years ago, we had maybe 5 in our old TMS, of which maybe only 1 worked.
It was, one.
There was errors all over the place. So we're up to 40, maybe 45 now.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of trading partners, a lot of connections.
Yeah. And like you mentioned earlier, so if we've got multiple shippers on the same TMS, that's literally just turning a switch. And so we can reach out to those customers and go, do you want to go EDI? Because we could probably turn you on tomorrow, which is going to help them and help us. And we do everything. So we'll do from tender, 204, tracking, 214s, right through 210 invoicing.
And when you went through 5 to 20 to 40 to 80, any system degradation,
Nothing.
Any hiccups,
No, we haven't had to like replay a day. AWS has been up solid. We're not dropping transactions. We can push new ones if there's a failure, but usually our test and our go live is great, and we never have to replay a day. So
one of the things that you said is you can turn on all of your trading partners on a platform. So one of your TMSs, shipper TMSs, that is multi-tenant, which means like has multiple shippers that uses it. We actually don't charge additional setup cost. So once that connection is made, you just tell us to turn on those shippers and we can turn them on, and there's no additional cost involved for that. So as a company, our mission is to help brokerages scale with their shippers and have 90% connectivity with their customers. What that means is any shipper that they're doing more than 10 loads a week with, we think it makes sense for them to be EDI compliant or using some sort of connectivity that increases efficiencies within their operation. And in order to do that, the price has to be right? You can't overspend for efficiencies. It has to have the right ROI. And so I think that's a big piece of why when we partnered with Everest, they really only had one trading partner for as big as they were, and we've really helped them scale over the last 12 to 18 months to 40 plus trading partners.
And that's also the beauty is I had no idea you had 40. So
Yeah.
you're not coming to us
Right.
to say, hey, can you wire all this language up?
Right.
You go to your partner
of which you don't want to do. Right?
I don't want to do that.
That's
I want the light switch. I
Yep.
just want to turn it on. I want happy customers. I don't ever want to hear. I don't want to hear about bitfreighter. So.
A modern TMS to me is one that has an active roadmap and adding features all the time. So there are, as big as transportation is, it's pretty small. There's some big players, big vendors out there, I should say. And so an old TMS won't have those integrations because the new partners are new and they're not actively building it. So to take advantage of some of these new technologies that companies are coming out with an active TMS, it's almost like the best thing out there. Like, I know that if there's a buzz in the industry about something happening, Revenova's got it on their radar, and it's going to be in your roadmap somewhere. So it's, when is it going to be released?
Yeah, the buzzword right now is AI.
Yeah.
So everybody talks about AI. No one really knows what it means, of course. But we take advantage of being on the Salesforce platform. They have the Einstein Analytics AI platform that our customers now can take advantage of. There's instances now that we can literally take EDI loads that come in, rate them based off of waterfall tendering, and then send the response back without a human even touching it. So I think you're going to see more and more kind of the no-brainer lanes customers that there's going to be a lot more automation around that, and EDI, of course, and tech APIs will be the driver of that. But it's not going away anytime soon.
Yep. From my perspective, a new TMS or a forward-thinking TMS is able to plug and play with other, I don't want to say systems, but so an old school TMS might do everything from the EDI's all built in, the finance package is all built in. Like, it's one system that does everything for a company, which depending on the company could be a great thing. However, if you're not happy with the way the EDI works in that TMS, that's a huge lift to replace the EDI. You can't. It's part of the TMS. The same goes for, let's say you don't like the TMS part, but you like some other part. That's another big lift. You can't just get rid of the TMS because it's got everything built into it. So again, like for us, that's why Revenova is so great. You do the TMS perfect. You don't want to deal with the EDI. That allows me to pick the best vendor for EDI and go, I like the way bitfreighter does it, so I'm going to use them for EDI. For accounting, do I want to use a Salesforce accounting package? Do I want to use QuickBooks? How big am I? Do I use NetSuite? And then how do I integrate? So, I mean, you get to pick and choose we call it the IT landscape. So what does my landscape look like for IT, for the support systems to run the business? I would say that that's probably a new age TMS that thinks about things that way is in my opinion, a better candidate for a TMS than one that has everything all built in, like a Swiss Army knife of TMSs.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're a pretty smart company, but we rely on partners. We're more than happy to. We're not accountants, so we integrate in accounting. We're not good at integrating EDI, so we rely on experts like bitfreighter to do that. Telephony, we download apps to do that. So one of our philosophies is looking at best-in-class partners per our customers' request to help them drive their business and let them run with it. We're not the experts in accounting and EDI, et cetera, so that's why we rely on partners, and our technology allows us to do that.
I think Revenova is enhancing the right things. It allows you to get rates directly from the platform. It allows you to book freight directly from the platform. It really is looking at the things that brokers need that maybe the other TMSs didn't account for when they were building their platforms.
I believe it or not, I still get calls from brokers, that it's saying, hey, we need to support EDI with a customer and our TMS doesn't do it. One of the things that I love about you, bitfreighter, as a partner, is you make it easy. Our customers, when I know they're using bitfreighter, I don't have any issues, they're up and running, they're able to automate their business. what's your, what do you do differently? What's your secret sauce? The reputation is this is messy. So how do you do it?
Well, you touched on something that is a great business model for any business. Pick the things that are hard. EDI is hard. It's not easy. It's painful. Everybody knows it. And we sought out to solve it and kind of flip that mindset. Everything that you knew about an EDI company, we do differently. We don't have transactional charges. Everything's unlimited. It's all you can eat EDI. Unlimited transactions, unlimited transaction types, and unlimited service. We don't nickel and dime our customers. Once you sign up for bitfreighter, you know what your bill is going to be. You know it's a subscription, and you know that if you increase the volumes with your clients, you're just decreasing the amount you're paying per load with your EDI bill. And so there's really two things that we do differently. It's one with unlimited messaging, and the second thing is our service. We are rolling out a white glove, what I like to call our concierge team, where you drop your EDI trading partner off at the front door, and it is delivered to your hotel room, nice on the bed, ready to go, and it's just a really easy thing to ask to have set up. And so with EDI, like you said, it used to be painful. It used to be 4 to 9 week implementation, or maybe even longer depending on the trading partner. But because bitfreighter is a modern platform, we really are focused on decreasing implementation times and giving our customers an EDI, a person that's an extension of their team. And so our key accounts actually have Slack channels. Everest has a Slack channel with us. And that allows them to, if anything comes up with the connectivity of their shipper, they can Slack us immediately and get a response, because the people at bitfreighter really feel like they're a part of the Everest team and are connected to the end result of getting those loads picked up, and EDI is a big part of that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just everything we do is different than what you expect from an EDI company. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about Revenova and your story, and why you guys decided to create Revenova. What did you see in this space that was different, and made you think that you could change the TMS landscape?
Yeah, our CEO ran Schneider's brokerage back in the day, and he had, I think, 4 different TMS systems, a different CRM system, couldn't get consolidated reporting, had people all over the place, had no visibility into the total spend. It was a mess, and they spent lots of money on it. So we feel it was a sleepy industry, very backwards when it came to tech and innovation, and we thought we could build an awesome TMS native on Salesforce, make it affordable, make it easy to use. And one of the things we talk about is the swivel chair approach, where I have 4 monitors up, and I have my load boards, I have my TMS, I have my CRM, and I'm moving things around because nothing's in one place. And so we were looking at doing a multimodal TMS built on the best platform in the world to eliminate the swivel chair approach. And we have been successful. We work with some of the largest brokers today in North America. And one question I want to ask you too about EDI, again, our customers, very little friction once they sign on with you. But one thing I've noticed too is once they do their first one and second one, I blink an eye and they're up to 20, 30, 40, 80 trading partners. How quickly does that happen after they start working with bitfreighter and onboarding new EDI partners?
Well, I think that goes back to our mission with helping logistics companies scale their integrations. I mean, it really goes back to the core of our company, and that's really our goal. And so if you think about that, everything else kind of falls into line. In our pricing model, our platform, everything is built so that our customers can come to us and say, hey, we only have 3 trading partners right now, but we want to scale to 50. And the construct of bitfreighter allows them to do that.
So Eric, I know you've got quite a few trading partners now. How quickly did you go from 1 to the number you're at today?
Yeah, so it took us probably 12 to 18 months. We went through the EDI snowball. And part of my role is efficiency and to increase throughput without adding headcount. So that's EDI is a great candidate for that. So we onboarded our first customer, and people kind of drank the Kool-Aid at that point, and they're like, yeah, this is pretty cool. The loads magically get built in the TMS for us. How can we do more? And so that turned into 2 and 3 and 4. And now our focus has been take our top 50 customers and make sure they're on EDI. That's our target.
Would you say it was a mix then, Eric, between the pricing model that Brad talked about that enables you to scale that quickly,
Yeah.
also with the ease of bringing on a trading partner?
Yeah, I would say that's one of my first questions to Brad is really you don't charge per character on volume? Like I can run as much as I want through this connection, and yeah.
I mean, we're pretty funny at bitfreighter, but we're not characters.
Oh wow, that was bad. Dad joke.
Oh my God. I was, cut that out. So I did have a question for you about choosing Revenova, and why was it important to you that your TMS was built on a CRM?
Oh, so it's just a natural. It's like a what do I want to say? It's like a natural progression. We were already on Salesforce, so our sales team was using the Sales Cloud side of Salesforce. We were putting our prospects and our leads in there. I've worked at companies in the past where you're trying to blend systems together, your TMS system with your CRM system with your accounting system, and it was one less system that we had to integrate. So we already had that going for us.
I think the top 4 systems that a brokerage needs is a TMS, a CRM, connectivity, and QuickBooks or some sort of accounting platform. And so, I mean,
I'd add a 5th, analytics.
Yeah,
which is big for us now,
Yeah,
visibility and analytics, and so we kind of get that for free with Salesforce, and they've got some new tools coming out that we're actually looking at, Einstein Analytics, to do some advanced
we're calling it
reporting.
TMS Analytics, kind of blends a little bit of the Tableau and Einstein Analytics AI tools into some really cool analytical tools.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I mean, exactly. I think that Revenova really checks all those boxes.
So when you were looking at, looking at other TMSs, what would you say? How is it working with Revenova, and kind of why'd you choose Revenova?
It's just the ability to shift and move and plug and play different parts and pieces. So be able to evaluate like an EDI provider like bitfreighter, and if things don't work out with one provider, you can swap them easily enough with someone else. So whether it's visibility and tracking, EDI, even analytics. I mean, we've used Power BI, we've used Tableau, we've tried everything under the sun, and because we're in Revenova on the TMS and we own our data, that's huge for us. We can dabble in whatever we want to do and try out those tools and see which one works best.
One of the things that we've talked about a couple times here is giving Eric and his team full access to build the functionality and the apps that he needs that are proprietary to Everest. And bitfreighter has an open API, so as they look to increase the functionality with Revenova, they can combine our open API with Revenova's APIs, and being able to integrate the two makes it just a lot easier to combine the data. The ability to have an open API gives Eric's team full access to all of their data, And I think Revenova allows them to do the same. So we're not a black box, and as an EDI provider, that really sets us apart, because not only do we provide them a managed service, but we also provide them with a platform that allows them to get the data they need to potentially put analytics together outside of bitfreighter, or anything that Eric may dream up. He has access to those kinds of things.
And we've already been talking about the swivel chair and multiple monitors with multiple platforms. We've been talking about using your open API to either bring that data from your portal right into Revenova and have it on the same screen, so we can kind of see where Revenova hands it off to you, and then we can pick it up right there and see what you guys do with it as it goes out to the customer and back. So we've got that full life cycle right in one screen, looking at it at a load level, which is huge for us. So by a load in our system, by customer, we can see what's going on. It just saves us time. The information from the TMS, meaning lanes we've done in the past, revenue and expense and margin, time of year, customer, equipment, all the variables that we house in our TMS that we slice and dice every day to try to figure out what's the market doing and how do we price this. That's our secret sauce. That's what we use to figure out, when we're using LiveQuote, what to put in for rules.
Absolutely. I mean, your carrier base is your IP, right?
Yep.
So if you know your carrier base, you know what lanes you're buying cheaper, and what carriers that you can really rely on to automate those lanes, and we can leverage the rate IQ from Revenova as we automate more and more freight for Everest. That's really where you're going to have better margins, because you understand what you're buying trucks at.
Mm-hmm.
So Brad, I know one of the things we talked about earlier is our customers, you took a very complex process, EDI, and you're simplifying it, both on the pricing and setup standpoint. And our customers are rapidly introducing EDI and trying to get more and more customers using EDI. And I think, and let me know if this is true, is the load volumes go up versus getting emails, getting phone calls. Is that accurate? The more EDI partners they have, do their load volumes go up?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what we're seeing is our clients are actually checking the box that they have EDI because they have bitfreighter prior to even maybe getting fully connected, because they know that we're already connected to all of these platforms. And a lot of times when they're doing the RFIs and the RFPs, it's a requirement, and they have to be able to check the box that they have EDI before they can even bid the freight. So yes, increasing load volumes does happen, but the first thing to even win the business is you have to tell them that you can do certain things. EDI is a big part of it. The next thing is being able to do API rating, which we built our LiveQuote tool to allow our customers to be able to automate the quoting aspect of whether it's spot board or real-time rating. They're going out and bidding on loads fully autonomously, and Eric could probably talk a little bit more about how they leverage the LiveQuote tool.
Yeah, I can talk about all that stuff. So, Jeff, to your first part of the question, we're seeing higher volumes when we enable EDI on a couple fronts. So for existing customers who dish out new bids, we're already connected, and that's usually, like you said, Brad, that's a requirement. You've got to be on EDI. So we no longer have to log into our shippers portals to accept loads or to bid on loads. Those will just come right through. They can cancel them as well, and that comes right through as a $9.90 cancellation. So there's that. And then for new customers, large shippers that we're able now to actually go after, because to even be a broker in their world, you have to be connected to EDI. They will not send you loads over email. It's all EDI. So we can confidently check that box and implement there. And then to your point, Brad, on LiveQuote, it's kind of like the continuation of the digital booking from beginning to end. So being able to have shippers either do a live, I'm not sure what do you call it? What's your
The dynamic pricing.
dynamic pricing?
Yeah,
So it's
or-
like
yeah.
instant. Hey, what would Everest charge me for this load? That gets funneled through bitfreighter. We've got rules built into your system based on customer and whatever else. Capacity, exactly. And we can instantly reply back to that customer and say, here's what Everest would charge. And in their TMS, they can click the box. That'll fly right through to our TMS and show up. So
When I was on the brokerage side, I thought I didn't really understand what EDI really even was, and I knew that I wanted to create some efficiencies with load building, load updates, and said, hey, let's get EDI set up. Well, there came a lot of new things that I had to learn about. Vans, 204s, 214s, lots of things. But when you're building a brokerage, you're at some point you want to start putting in some efficiencies. And I think that is the difference between a new or small brokerage that is building and doesn't really understand how to provide those efficiencies and what EDI is or will do for your company. And once you get to a certain scale, you realize that you can't manually do everything. And so when you look at those efficiencies, you guys have been implementing EDI over the last 12 to 18 months. Prior to that, you had one trading partner on EDI. How different is your business today?
it's completely different in every facet. So from a 204 inbound, so a tender to us, we don't need people to punch in that load into our TMS. It's just going to show up. When the load's in transit, all the tracking updates, those we don't have to bounce out to shippers portals and put that in. EDI 214 handles that for us. It just goes out the door. And then we recently, so we started with 204s, tenders, and 214s. And we kind of held off on purpose on invoicing. We wanted to make sure we had those channels working before we got to the invoicing. But now we're using 210 invoicing out to customers, which is actually huge on the bidding side too. A lot of customers like the fact that we invoice electronically now. That's a barrier that's no longer there. So yeah, we're seeing it across the board. Invoicing customers is literally a click of a button, and sometimes not even. Like, we have Revenova configured that when the load is delivered and our POD is on file, boom, out the door it goes.
And when you go into bitfreighter, you can see all of that activity that Eric was just talking about, so that maybe you're trying to figure out if a status update went out.
Yeah.
You can, and because we are only dealing with loads and in the transportation space, bitfreighter, all of our activity, all of the transactions boil up to a load. So our customers really understand and can actualize the EDI transactions at the load level, and so they can select the load that might be in Revenova. It's the same load in bitfreighter, and then they can see all of the activity that has happened from an integration standpoint, which really allows them to, if things aren't working, to diagnose those things quickly.
Yep. And we use that all the time. So our shippers score us on digital tracking. If we're not 99% digitally tracking with them, that hurts our score. So if we ever get a report that's lower than that, that's the first place we go, is out to the bitfreighter portal. We pull up a sample load, make sure it's tracked, take that screenshot, and we send it right to the customer and say we're tracking 100%.
You know, tracking has become bigger and bigger in our space as visibility has become a thing that is synonymous with, you know, moving freight or moving packages. We allow our customers to do with bitfreighter is we give them unlimited messaging. And with tracking, when you're tracking a load that's maybe going over 2,000 miles, and you're tracking it every 15 minutes, and those like you said, those scorecard metrics are super important to your shippers and to your customers, and you have to deliver those messages. And if you're on a platform that's charging you transactionally or character charges, and you're being charged every 15 minutes, those charges add up.
Yeah, they do.
And so with bitfreighter, everything's unlimited, and that's really where our pricing model comes in and helps our clients scale, and they have the peace of mind that they're not going to be charged if they increase volume with those clients.
So question for you, because you touched on it earlier. You came from a brokerage background.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I thought you were talking to Jim.
So you came from a brokerage background, which I could tell on our first call because you can talk the talk and you knew the EDI side, which gives me like a comfort feeling, like I don't have to explain what a load is and the carrier side and the customer side. So talk to me about like your staff and where they come from and
So everybody on the solutions and sales team has a transportation background. Some of our solutions folks have brokered freight before. Some of our sales folks have brokered loads before. Some of them actually have worked at transportation companies in the EDI space. So they've sat on the other side of the table. They know the expectations, and they understand how demanding our business can be. And I really feel like we are industry people. We really care about helping people. That's at bitfreighter synonymous with what we talk about, and kind of our mission is helping our clients grow. And I think a lot of that stems from the fact that we come from the space and we understand the pain points and how difficult it can be. And so, yeah, I mean, that if I didn't have my brokerage background, I don't know if we would have founded bitfreighter, because I wouldn't have realized how hard and painful and expensive EDI was, and how it just kind of left me scratching my head why there weren't any other options out there in the space. So that's kind of why we are so much different than all of our competitors, because we just take a different approach to trying to help our customers scale their business.
Mm-hmm. I'd say 50% of my job is translating operations speak into IT speak. And with you guys, I don't have to do that. So my operations people are able to email you directly and say, I need a arrival notification code switch to this. Your people know exactly what that means without having to go through that entire chain back and forth to figure that out.
We spent a lot of time looking for the right people. We've spent months looking for the right solutions people to add to the team. It was really important to us to hire people from the industry that had the right mentality, the right mindset, and could talk the talk. But on top of that, we pair our solutions and sales team with a world-class engineering team, and most of our engineers come with an integration background. So, which is nice because they might not have a freight background, but our solutions team and our sales team can help translate what you're looking for to our engineering team.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, Brad, what you mentioned too, and we were initially talking to bitfreighter about adding you as a partner. You were saying all the right things, and it was interesting in this industry of EDI, which has been around forever, that you were kind of changing the game a little bit around pricing, around giving visibility to your customers, allowing them to make changes, providing great customer support and service. So when we're talking about, this almost sounds too good to be true before we integrated, and you've lived up to every expectation. Our customers have seen great customer support. I don't have any issues on my end with our customers when they're using you as for your EDI partner. So the partnership's been great, and you delivered on every promise.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that. Partnering with Revenova was a big milestone for us. You guys are a big platform. You have a lot of customers, a lot of big brokerages that leverage Revenova's technology. And so being able to be a a premier EDI provider with Revenova was a big deal for us.